Prepare to get gas because it's time for the Week in Gear. This week, Epiphone got greedy again with some truly crazy pricing. Oh wait, that was last week. Hold on. This week, Epiphone gets generous again with some truly acceptable pricing of the Dave Grohl signature guitars, and Fender give us more 70th anniversary Strats, and Line6 shake up the budget effects world once again. This show is brought to you by Truefire. More about them in a bit. Okay, let's kick off this week's most exciting gear releases with a guitar from Gretsch. Gretsch are back with more additions to their Electromatic series. These guitars come in semi-hollow center block models and solid-body jet models, and the colors are gorgeous. Both models have two-tone finishes, which is metallic tops and stained bodies and necks, with gold hardware on everything. And they also come, all of them in fact, with a Bigsby licensed tremolo system. This series is called the Pristine series, which sounds very posh, and the Pristine center blocks are coming in at around $899, and they've got laminated mahogany bodies with a spruce center block and P90 pickups, whereas the Pristine jet solid bodies are coming in at around $749 and have chambered mahogany bodies. Not solid then, is it? With solid sounds better than chambered. The chambered mahogany bodies with an arched maple top and FT5 Filtertron pickups. All the limited edition Pristine guitars have a thin U-shaped mahogany neck and a 12-inch radius. And that's on a Laurel fingerboard. You can see the rest of the specs on the screen. I think they're there. Might be able to, they're probably there. Yeah, right. Gretsch are really nailing it recently, not just with specs and looks, but with the price too. Yes, the price has crept up a little bit in the last few years, but in this current market, guitars that used to cost around, say, $599 now cost around $799 and no more. Are you listening, Epiphone? That's called foreshadowing. That was a delivery. It's not a guitar or anything. It was just a part from my new shower. Well, a new part from my old shower. Anyway, that was foreshadowing. I've said before, and I'll say it again, that gold hardware makes me want to take off my glasses and poke out my eyeballs, unless the guitar in question is a Gretsch. And the gold on these Pristine models are like cufflinks worn with a designer suit that one would expect to see someone in Harrods wearing, rather than other guitars with that kind of hardware, which is like wearing a chunky gold chain over top of a shell suit and slippers that you throw on to go down the offie because you've run out of cheap lager again. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just there's a distinct difference. What I'm trying to say is these guitars look very, very smart, and the specs and track record mean that you're going to get a lot of guitar for your money. At number 4 this week is a compressor from Brian Wampler. The Wampler EGO 76 is Brian's take on the classic 1176 studio compressor, but optimized for us guitar players. The EGO 76's circuit is based around a FET design, Star Wars joke, and features a blend for parallel compression, which I think is genius. Anyway, there's also attack and release knobs, as you'd expect, tone control, and a compress knob for when you want to do that all buttons in British mode, like on the 1176. Anyway, Brian has stated that this is not just a compressor, as the EGO 76 incorporates the tonality of the 1176 studio unit and adds a little bit of flavor to your tone, even if you're not compressing it. Now, I know it's kind of hard to get excited about compressors, but once you've used one, it all kind of makes sense. And I do love how Brian has designed this version of the 1176 around the whole circuit while adapting everything for guitar. And I think that's a very Wampler, nerdy, geeky thing to do, and exactly something I expect from Brian, because he is one of the OGs, one of the greats, and the EGO 76 fits really well in the Wampler lineup. The EGO 76 is available for around $180 to $200, and as always, our affiliate links down there in the description, which if you use those, contributes to the channel at no extra cost to you. Before we get to number 3 on the list, it's now time to talk about this week's sponsor, Truefire. Truefire have over 80,000 online lessons. How about learning from players like Andy Timmons, or Greg Koch, or Orianthi, or Steve Vai? Now, the reason I use Truefire is because they've got split-screen videos and on-screen tabs. You can purchase courses individually, which I've done in the past, or you can sign up for a monthly subscription. And if you're saving for your next guitar, I can help you out because there's a promo code in the video description which will get you a little discount. The course that I use the most is probably the 50 guitar licks you must know, and if you get that too, you might recognize some of the riffs and licks that I steal from there in my review videos. So if you want access to over 1,500 lessons from over 400 educators, follow the link in the video description. Thanks, Truefire. On with the show. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this weekly show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a double thumbs up. No, in fact, press the thumbs up 3 times. Thumb up, thumb up, thumb up, 3 times. And then more people get to see the video, you see, and then I can continue making these. Thank you. Third on the list this week, it finally happened. Epiphone have dropped the Dave Grohl signature model. And even more exciting, the price was not exciting really, but even more acceptable is the price is exactly where it was rumored to be. More about price in a little bit. Currently available in any color as long as that color is Pelham Blue, the DG335 has a semi-hollow body with bound diamond-shaped F-holes and a Trini Lopez style headstock. Well, yeah, it is a Trini Lopez headstock. And Gibson USA burst bucker pickups, just like Dave's. Now, for me, this guitar is more than the sum of its parts. The original Gibson Trini Lopez went fairly unnoticed until Dave started playing one. And then when Gibson released the first signature with Mr. Grohl, they sold very well and now reach prices of, I saw one, a gold one for $6,500, but I've seen blue ones for $20,000, which is nuts. These Epiphone versions have been highly requested, and I'm delighted that Dave has been using it on stage like, a proper musician, because he seems like a good bloke. And I really doubted that he would just stick his name on something and then let Epiphone charge the world for it. All right, let's talk about the price. It's coming in at $1,299 in the USA and around the same or a little bit more the world over. And that seems like a lot, and it is, but compared to the $1,799 Firebirds from last week, this is more reasonable sounding, and that feels like a bit of a marketing trick. I feel like we're being cajoled, tricked, hoodwinked. Compared to all of the Epiphone models of late, the DG335 is priced where I thought it would be, but still higher than I had hoped, if that makes sense. And as it is an artist model, Dave will be taking a percentage of the sales, because that's how signature models work. But I like to think that he would rather people be able to afford it and play it rather than he get richer. So I wish Epiphone had the same way of thinking. Now, I know guitar selling is a business, that's clear, but Epiphone versions of Gibson guitars are supposed to be an affordable alternative to the real thing. And with Epiphone's latest price trends, they're keeping the guitars out of the hands of the people that want it the most. The fans who, generally speaking, we don't have that much disposable cash hanging around. So it's still too expensive at $12.99, in my opinion. For more on my thoughts about Epiphone, see last week's episode. It's a corker. Now, regarding the DG335, I know that there are Gibson pickups in there, but this guitar is made in China, where labor is cheaper. And at this price point, we should also be expecting a rosewood fretboard, like other brands provide for far less money than this model. But instead, Epiphone have opted for laurel. But what do I know? Because it seems like they made just enough of these to sell out the first batch everywhere and accept orders for a second batch pre-order already. And although I hate the price, I love the guitar, and regardless of everything I've said about this, I really want one. And this is one of the guitars that I'm going to regret not finding a way to finance, because I just cannot give 1,299 euros, or probably closer to 14 now. I can't give it to Epiphone for this. It just doesn't sit well in my heart, and also for the channel. I can't do it. It would be hypocritical of me, and I can't. But I am happy to wait a few months or a couple of years and find a used one somewhere for under $1,000. So if you buy one and then figure out that you can't afford it, let me know and I'll make you a hell of a lowball offer for it. Oh, and by the way, they should have named this the Epiphone Pretender. Yeah, I know. And number 2 this week, Line6 went nuts and squeezed a pod and bits of a helix into a standard pedal size. The Pod Express is an ultra portable amp and effects processor that's also supposed to be easy to use, and it certainly looks it. It's got sounds from the helix. There are 7 amps, 7 cabs, and 17 effect options. It also has a 30-second looper. It's got 2 onboard foot switches, and best of all, there's no menu diving. With 21 available presets, a USB audio interface, and headphones out, I think the Pod Express begs the question, how much functionality do most of us really need? Because this has got the power of the helix in a little pedal. It's enough, right? It's coming in at around $200. It's available now, and while I haven't played one yet, I think this deserves to be on most people's boards and will solve the problem of most people's tone woes. There should be enough in there. I'm a massive fan of the M9 and the M13, and I think this could do a similar job. So, well done, Line6. Oh, and there's also a bass version. Andy's Pick of the Week! Oh, I'm going to roll that out. Here we go. Right, at number 1 this week, a Strat. Just a Strat. That's it. Bye-bye. Go ahead and click there to subscribe. Not really. It is the Strat. 2024 is the 70th anniversary of the Fender Stratocaster, and throughout this year, Fender will be releasing limited editions of the Strat, which are dedicated to capturing the essence of the guitar at various points in its 70 years of existence. Now, this is really the first time that I can recall that Fender are really grabbing the anniversary thing and shaking that tree to see what falls out. And quite honestly, I don't think it's a marketing thing at all. Well, it is a marketing thing, of course, but I don't think it's all marketing, because if you've ever wanted to get the Strat you've always wanted, whatever configuration that is, it seems like this is the year to do it. I want to focus on one model in particular, this one, the 70th anniversary 1954 reissue. I reviewed this week, and you can see that video by clicking up there somewhere. And I'm just going to have a moment with this guitar because I freaking love it. I thought I'd dinged it then, but it's just a bit of snot or something. Anyway, this is a faithful recreation of what Leo Fender made in 1954, highlighting details from that first ever Strat, including a 2-piece ash body, nice piece of ash, a nitrocellulose lacquer finish, and reproduction 1954 pickups that even look different. I dig this guitar so much. It's one of the most exciting guitars I've ever played, still squeaky, and being a 1954, it's only got a 3-way switch. and it selects one pickup at a time, so there's no position 2 and 4 on this model as stock. But it absolutely nails every sound the Strat is famous for. You know, the warmth, the quack, and the sort of bell, sort of almost twangy sound of the bridge pickup. If you don't want positions 2 and 4, then this does everything. If you do, then you just got to change the switch out. Now I could spend a whole episode telling you how great this is, but I recommend that you just watch the review video, because I wax lyrically on that as well, and I actually play it. The downside of this guitar is that it's coming in at around $2,500, so it is a premium priced guitar, and I think it's worth it because it does things that other guitars don't. And what am I trying to say there? That's not enough explanation. I had a few comments on the other video about just get a Squire or that's too expensive. And yeah, it is a lot of money, but I would change nothing about this. And if you're looking for something 50s, that's that bogey, then this is the guitar to get from Fender at the moment. It's not for everyone because of the price and the looks and the specs, but as I said, if you want to get a Fender Strat, then 2024 is probably the year to do it. So, if this one doesn't float your goat, Fender will continue to bring out more Strats this year, and I really don't think Fender are just marketing when they say that 2024 is the year of the Strat. Thank you to the wonderful people that support the show on Patreon. Their names are on screen now. Hello, Patreon members. Thanks for doing this. And also to the lovely people showing their support right here on YouTube. Their names are also coming up on the screen. There they go. Oh, look at that one. If you want your name up in lights and join those people over there, then click the join button right here on YouTube. And if you don't like to give money to YouTube, you can join me on my Patreon. The link will be in the video description. Don't forget that the people that do that pay for the show that you watch. So if you want to join them, then, you know, share it around a little bit. I don't know, like you do with the Netflix password or something. And if you want your name read out like these wonderful people, join the top tier. I'll do it in the style of... How should I do it in the style of? I do it in the style of being really scared. Sarang Narayan, PQ Deads, Dustin Bonney, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tamberg, Chris Huff, Alyssa Boston, Boom Shakalaka, Dirk. This prank is officially sponsored by Jason Welch, Michael Lerner, Buddha Blue, Huge Erection. Thank you to the top tier members. You make my sun shine. And if you want to choose the way in which I read those names out next week, then just let me know in the comments once you've joined or here on, Patreon. So go ahead and click there to subscribe. Comment your pick of the week if you disagree with me down below in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.